wrecking my plans here. So $5 in the pot. Sid's got a higher club than my 10, then I could be in a bit of bother here. So I got to play this cautious. I have played it cautious. As I said, Sid has been playing very strongly in position. So let's see what Sid does. Now remember, we dirty checked when we hit this on the turn. That was not expected. So it's myself to play, and I check. I don't want to screw myself here by putting $4 or $5 in, and for Sid to come over the top, and he could quite easily go all in, and I probably would have to fold it. So I've gone check here. The pot's $5. I've kept it small. Sid bungs in 3. You can see there he's got 3 clubs. That's his last throw of the dice. If I haven't got a club, his $3 is, I'll take that pot, thanks very much. Well, because it's nice and small, I've got a 10 of clubs, top card. So what have I got out there? Ace, Queen, Jack, to beat me if he's got a club. So well worth looking him up, which is what I do, which is great. Win the pot, take it down. Nice one. And the great thing about that is that whole hand gave me a huge amount of information about Sid. I had my suspicions that he was pulling the fast one from the button and from the cutoff, and that basically destroyed his whole table image. And from that point onwards, all the moves that Sid was making later on this table, he couldn't do them. And when he tried to do them, he got looked up not just by me but by other people, and he ended up losing a lot of money. So that was very useful, that hand. Okay, so there you go. Nice one. Next one. Move along here. Okay, 10, 25. And here you are, bear here on the button. King, Queen suited, nice. Pair of 3s to my right. Flat call. Raises with the 3s. 75. I've got King, Queen in position. I could easily re-raise that, or I can flat call. I just had to flat call. Again, the whole idea, guys, is I want to play sensibly, play my big hands well once I've got the goods. At the moment, I'm only drawing. Okay, so we've got a raise, flat collar on the button, fold, fold, and a collar. So we've got a 3-way pot now. Flop comes down, and look at that, really nice. Jack of clubs, ace of clubs. I got, technically speaking, looking at that flop, 13 outs. I got 4 for the straight and 9 for the nut straight. And also we roll flush kicking there if the 10 of clubs pops up. So really nice. We got a check. And a little surprisingly, the 3's checked. Don't get me wrong, he's raised pre-flop. He's got 2 callers. His opponent to the right is checked him, giving him the opportunity of playing. If it was me with the 3's, I'd have bunged out a feeling bet, maybe 150 into that 260 pot, and he didn't do it. If he bunged the 150 and people called him, then he knows he's in deep shit and he's just checking the rest down. But by checking, he's giving people free cards to draw out on him. If they're going for either a straight or a flush. At the same time, if he bet, he may well have forced other people to fold. Obviously, I'm going nowhere. But if he bets representing the ace, he could quite easily have taken that pot down. As it stands, by checking, he's got no info whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad move. He's playing it safe. I just think that a wee feeling bet of 150, it's not a lot of money, but it would have given him a better idea of where he stood and what's going on. But by doing that, he's given me a card. Now, as I said, I ain't going to play over aggressive here. I don't have to. At these stakes, I want to nibble away, win small pots, and win big pots with big hands. So, I check. I take my free card. Thanks very much. Okay. And 3 comes down now. Really interesting. Let's see what happens here. We get a $1 bet from Marvin 26's opponent to the right to a 260 pot. Now, because Marvin didn't put his feeling bet in there, that pot's still small. So Marvin's very limited on what he can and can't do. Now, if he humps it all in now, alright, he's going to frighten everybody away. He probably thinks he's ahead here, and obviously he is, but the pot's not big enough. He's not built it up. Now, as I said, if he'd bunged that 150 in beforehand to find out where he was and 2 people called him, then he'd have a much bigger pot to throw his cash at with the fees. But because it's still small, he's limited with how much he can raise. So he's caught in a quandary here. So anyway, $1 bet, and he bungs it up to 3. Now I need 2.5 to 1 to call this. Alright, I've got 2.2 to 1 pot odds, so I'm near enough there. If I take in the stacks into consideration from big stacks here and from Marvin here, then hey, plenty of money on the table there. So very easy call for me. Call it. Big stacks calls, and bingo. Up comes the club on the river for me, and I've hit my nut flush. I believe I'm way ahead here. No chance of me losing this hand. Let's see what happens. Big stacks checks. Marvin to play. $11 in the pot. Bungs in $6. It's fair enough. I can see what he's doing here, but really, that club has got to scare him with two people in the hand, and a check call would have been a lot better, in my opinion. Banging that $6 in there. If anybody's got the flush, he's just going to get raised up, which is basically standard, and he's put himself in a difficult position. As I said, if you go back to the hand originally on the flop, if he'd bet that presenting the ace, the 3 comes down, and he then has more in the pot to bet much harder at it to stop people drawing. He could certainly have got big stacks away. Whether he'd got me away or not is a different question. It all depends on what he bet. But the pot would have been bigger for him to play with. Because it was so small, I got plenty of odds to call him. So anyway, going back to this, $6. I want to get paid, so I bang up 15. Okay, I could have bunged them all in, but I want to get paid here, and that's enough to paid. Fold, and he calls me. Thanks very much. And that was what, near enough $20 that cost him there. Unlucky, true, but I thought I played that quite well, keeping it small, not risking too much, and waiting for my hand. Okay, moving on. Alright, 10-25. Here we go. 8-9, ace jack. Okay, fold, fold. $1, fold, fold, and a call from the ace jack. So I'm in position with 8-9. I've raised, one off the button, standard move. Get a call from the blind. Flop comes down, and you look at that, guys. Very nice, very nasty. I've hit 2 pair, but I got a nightmare flop. Now, if he's got jack queen, I'm in deep trouble here. Okay, not only that, I've got a flush draw against me there as well, and I've got no spades. So this is a classic example of, great, I'm potentially ahead here, but I could also be a complete dog here, or my opponent could have so many different options with regards to the flush draw as well. So I've got to play this very carefully. So let's lead on. 150 from my opponent, 210 in the pot, and black call for myself. I ain't doing any smart moves here. I got 2 pair. If I raise him back up here, I could get put all in and be in deep trouble. At the moment, I just want to try and keep the pot small and test the water. Neutral card comes on the turn, which is great. It gives me a little bit more confidence. And my opponent to play checks to me. Now he's checked. Now, if he had the goods, i.e. jack queen, obviously it's not spades or whatever he's going on, then I would expect him to bet there. So that suggests to me he's drawing. Okay, by checking there. So based on that info, it's myself to play. I got $5 in the pot. I bang in 350. Again, it could be a dirty check, and that's why I'm being cautious with the 350 bet. If I bet and he comes way over the top, then if he puts me all in there, then I'm probably beat, and I'd have to chuck that hand away. So that bet was more of an information bet. You can also call it a blocking bet. That's why I was prepared to pay, right, to get to the river. Didn't want to pay any more than that, and if my opponent came over the top, then my blocking bet's screwed, and I would be more than likely folding that hand. It's just such a nasty flop. 9-10, 8-9-10, I could be staring a made hand here. Obviously I'm not, so my blocking bet works a treat. He pays 350 for the river. Okay? And bitch of a card. Didn't want to see a spade, and out it comes. Okay, so my opponent surprisingly checks me. I actually expected him to lead out here, and if he had, then it would have been a really hard call for me to make that call. 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, possible flush. I mean, there could have been so many potential hands he could have had there to beat me. And,